Hello, 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 and welcome to the Kermaco stream. So we're going to continue working on our dragon project today. So real quick, like, subscribe on Twitch and also on YouTube where this will be posted if that's where you're seeing it. And if you have any questions, you can leave it as a comment or you can leave a comment in general. And if you have questions live while I'm working, please feel free to ask them in the chat and I will do my best to respond. Okay, so with that, let's go ahead and get going. I'm hoping the audio levels are good. Adjust my microphone here. All right. Okay, so I'm going to get going on this and I will explain as I go. I won't be as, for lack of a better word, explaining during this. I'll just mention some some important times, but for the most part I think I'm just going to be working and be listening to music at the same time. All right, so the first thing I want to do here is select this guy. And I've got click to solo on, so when I click like this, it just solos it. And I guess I created this last time. I can delete this curve, stroke, curves. Okay, there it is. And okay, and why can't I delete the curve? In the right place. Yep, stroke, curve, curve mode. No. Okay, curve function was here. This is what I'm looking for. All right. And I'm going to separate these out. Oops. Split two similar parts. Okay. And so what I want to do is I want to merge this with the legs for now. Well, maybe I'll just keep them separate. All right, I'll keep them separate. All right, so let's work on this part. Bring everything back. And I've got a prop that I'm using, and I'll show it. It's this statue by Evolutio, I guess is the name of the company. They used to be Anatomy Tools, and I think this was sculpted in ZBrush, actually by Sue, Crystal Sue, and yeah, so I'm just using this as reference. As you can see, there's some really good kind of ribs and kind of the back muscles and whatnot. And I'm just going to use this as an example. A lot of times when people do dragons, they tend to use like alligators or lizards or whatever, but you know, they're kind of more like you know, the anatomy is more to me like a greyhound or something like that with wings. So so much for that. Okay, I also want to mention that I redid my menus, and I'll probably be mentioning this on ZBrush Live as well. But basically I have all menus in the first menu, so every one of these is a menu that pops up, a menu that I've made, a custom menu, and then I've got this that brings up this other radial menu for brushes. So and I've been trying this out and it's actually working pretty good for me so far, and today will also be more of that. All right, so here I'm going to be using the ZBrush with this. I just watched a really good video with Pablo Munoz Gomez. I guess let's start out with James Standard first. With Pablo Munoz Gomez and also Gio Nakpil, and just kind of learn some techniques from there. I guess this thing was masked. Okay. All right, so what I want to do here is establish this kind of back muscle over here. And I'm going to lower the intensity of the Damien Standard for now, just because I don't want it to be cutting in so deep. I think my first challenge is going to be forgetting how I had to retrain my muscle memory, so to speak, to this new way of doing the brush system, or the menu, the Wacom menu. Take this up a bit. Okay, and this thing, I don't think is it Dynamesh still? Yeah, it is. All right, and that's fine. Make sure. Oh no, it's not Dynamesh. But it's, the polygons are not as stretched as, there's some over here, but it's not as bad. Okay, and so I'll kind of continue with this resolution. All right. Right, and there is a middle part. All right, I think I'm going to I'm going to create subdivision levels for this. All right. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is just duplicate it, so I have a copy, just in case anything goes wrong. All right, and then with this duplicate, I'm just going to go ahead and ZBrush it at half, and there's no grooves. I think this is good. Let's just do it. All right, not bad. A few more times. All right, I'm just going down. I think this is as good as I can hope for. Okay, so now I just go back to the initial one, and it's about 264,000 polygons. So this one, of course, is a lot less, but I'm going to go ahead and subdivide it a couple of times. Let's go to about 1 million. And then I'm going to just go to one of these other views, just make sure everything is hidden, and just bring these two things up. Okay, and then what I want to do is just project the details of this one onto the new one I just made. Okay, so now they should look identical. Oops, sorry. All right, let's see. Okay, here's the new one we made. It's a glitchy thing over here. We'll fix it. And here's the other one. Seems pretty similar except those little glitchy areas. All right, let's fix those. Actually, that created an interesting thing. So happy accident, let's just stick with it. Anywhere else? Tail, nope, all good. All right, and the reason why I did this is because, all right, let's go back to V1. And this other one, we don't need it, but I'm going to save it in builders just in case, whatever. All right. And the reason why I did this is now I can go down in subdivision levels. I'm going to choose clay tubes, and let's make it a bit weaker, even more. Here I'm just making the outline for the rib cage. The advantage of doing that at the lower subdivision level is it kind of creates this really neat kind of indentation. And I might actually even, before I do that, go up one subdivision level and then do it. Okay. All right, let's work on the head for a little bit. Hey, Sanity, how's it going? Hang on a sec. Am I limited by the number of polygons I can use? So, yes, the answer is yes and no. There are limitations, but they're pretty high, meaning I can probably have one piece like this, one subtool, go up to, maybe 150 million polygons. I think that's the number. I'm not exactly sure. But yeah, so and then I can have as many of those as I want. Each one of them is separate out here. And so here you can see that I've got the head and then I've got the body, and they're separate. And I've only done that because I probably will put a lot of detail in the head. And I don't know if I need that level of polygons on the body. So that's why I separated it out. But yeah, there are limitations, but as far as ZBrush is concerned, it has the least limitations of any other program out there that I've used. So yeah, I think Blender has severe polygon restrictions to sculpting. So does Maya. I think I don't know exactly what the limitations are in 3D Coat, but I'm assuming that there are some there too. Hopefully that answers your question. Again, here I'm using clay tubes to just add bulk. Yeah, that's kind of the problem with those programs, and I think a lot of times with Max and Maya and those kinds of programs, you can create. Sorry, I'm just kind of checking something out here on the. But so yeah, you can create kind of cages, and then you can use normals, and you can use normal maps and whatnot to add detail to them to get them into a game. But yeah, it's definitely a sculpting program and a kind of a DCC in general are two different things. But you can do quite a bit in Max. I mean, I've seen people do whole scenes. You just have to be very kind of, you can't have poor level detail. You can't have, and also, you're not modeling or sculpting freeform like I am. So a lot of times people who use those softwares usually have some sort of pre-existing drawing or isographic image that they base their work on. I don't know why anybody would work differently than this, but that's just me. So here it's kind of tricky to find a blend between two different subtools. I think this will work over here. Are you still using Max, or have you switched to something else? Well, there's a lot to choose from. Fortunately, there's always Blender. It's free and really powerful for something that is free, and it's being adopted more and more in production pipelines. So I think that would be a good contender for you. Of course, Maya is really good as well, and 3ds Max is good. I had a 3ds Max phase myself, and it was great. Like all the ways back from when it was owned by Discrete, and then got bought by Avid, I think. Or no, I don't think so. I think Autodesk bought them after that. I'm not sure. But I remember I had the Discrete box and the blue, and then yeah, I still have a copy of Max on my machine. As a matter of fact, I don't know. I think it's version 2013, and I just keep it because clients sometimes give me Max files. Remember when it was called 3D Studio? But yeah, I mean, for now though, I'd highly recommend going with, if you want just something inexpensive, Blender would be a great place to start. Only thing is, you'll probably want to buy some plugins at some point to do certain tasks. But if you're just learning, starting from scratch, I think that's your ticket. I don't know why I'm deciding I want them to have sharper features. Sure. .3ds Max is used by principally two different markets. It's the gaming market still uses it heavily, and also the architectural visualization, ArchViz. And I think there's like a special version of Max that's specifically for architects. I forget what it's called. All right, so now that I did this, I have to move all those teeth over, and that's going to be an adventure. Let's see. Actually, no, I have them all in one group. Transpose set. I would highly recommend ZBrush as well. I mean, if you liked what I'm doing and you want to do stuff like this. The only thing is the learning curve is a little bit steep. But, it's a lot better now than it was. Just the learning curve as well as the all the tutorials and stuff out there to help you. So here I'm just moving the teeth into place. I've got like these weird teeth that are kind of in the middle. I don't know if they need to be there. It's kind of an interesting place to have teeth. These are also not symmetrical. Oops, symmetrical for some reason. All right, let's make them symmetrical. Layers. All right. Oh, man. All right. There we go. Oh, man. I'm trying to do the mirror and weld and have these not weld with each other, so I'm just gonna all right. Okay, yeah, actually while I'm doing it, why not don't I place this right where it needs to go? Actually, it's gonna go maybe in the back over here. All right. I think maybe there's enough this way. Let's have these teeth go. Oh, AutoCAD, yeah. It's kind of a different thing, but yeah. My dad used AutoCAD. He was an architect. I'll kind of make more detailed gnarly teeth. I mean, these are more placeholders. Also, I don't mean to give them this thing an underbite. There we go. All right. Yeah, I kind of like this snouty, longer face better. I'm giving it a double snarl over here. To figure out what to do in this area. At some point I'll have the thing open its mouth just to make sure I have a good kind of anatomically correct way of that working. Starting to little by little get into the secondary forms. Actually, I'm going to hide these for now. All right, I think I'm going to add some more bulk here, just making a possible design choice change. Try and see if this works better. Yeah, definitely grab a copy of Blender, especially the latest one, I think 4.5. I mean, anything after version 3 is kind of good. But yeah, it's pretty solid. Cool. The problem with Blender is that, like, if once you start getting good at what you're doing, you'll start to need certain functions that don't come with it, so you'll have to purchase those separately. Yeah, I think that's a good way to go. I mean, there are still things that I need Maya or Blender for, and there are certain things that it does really well, and there's some really cool plugins that give you a very specific look. So I tend to still use Maya for certain things, especially for work, because a lot of the companies I work with usually end up using Maya or have a Maya pipeline. But I'm getting more and more Blender work, so I think that's kind of more the speed I'll be going. All right. So happy the way this head is coming together. I think a lot of times people, when they are sculpting dragons, they just kind of go hog wild on the horns first. I kind of like to get the base shape in and then start adding horns and spikes and stuff. And of course, spikes make the dragon. All right. Here I'm making a design choice to see if I can lower this part. Of course, I don't really have the topology to support it, but I think this is working better. All right. I like this transition over here. It works. Right, spent a lot of time on the head. Time to move on to, let's work on the legs. I've done almost no work on them. All right, I'm going to hide these wings. I guess these pieces did not get added to the wings. Let's do that. All right. All right. All right, so the legs, they should still be dynameshed. No, I'm going to dynamesh them. Maybe high resolution. Okay, here I'm just going to establish their basic look. So again, I'm going to go to clay tubes. think I'm going to go down a little bit into Dynamesh levels just because I don't really need this much geometry. So I'm going to go to like maybe, I don't know, this is good. Let's take a look. See, it's really dense. I don't know why. I have indicated that I want it to be less. All right, let's just turn it off and on. Okay, let's go even less. Yeah, I don't know why it's keeping this high resolution. Let's see here. I guess we can always do this. All right, on to cup of tea number 2. Shandy, is this the first time you... Yeah, it is. It says here it's the first time. Well, welcome to the stream. By the way, you can watch the initial ones of this, and there's like a sword, there's, you know, a knight, there's a bunch of different things on this scene. I'll show them. Is Dynamesh done? It is. Okay. All right, ZBrush got done. Now I'm going to Dynamesh it at a lower resolution. Right, I don't know why it just keeps giving me this really high density Dynamesh. Let's see, do I have any settings correctly? Okay. Let's polish it. Why not? Let's not project. All right, well, I guess the thing to do is to zero mesh this thing down to a more manageable poly count. I don't really need all the detail. All right, still going, still going, still going. Yeah, that's about right. Okay, I guess I could just go one more, maybe. Okay, I think that's good. And then just divide this a few times so I can go up and down subdivision levels. I'll probably re-Dynamesh and redo the topology on this guy, but for now, okay, I don't really need these lower subdivision levels. 2, delete lower, okay. Marine Corps in 97. Wow. What were you based locally to the US or were you based in other countries? It's funny that you say that because I know exactly what you mean. As far as not being too many schools. I mean, now, you know, almost every school teaches this stuff, you know, to relative effectiveness, of course, but yeah. Yeah, but back in the day, you know, like, when I was a student, I wanted to do this and it didn't exist. So I did computer science and I did take some CAD courses and whatnot, but now every community college has, like Santa Monica College over here has a ZBrush course. And of course, there are a lot of really more specialized schools too. Noman is really great here in LA. Art Center, Otis, all places I've taught. There are schools in Texas. I mean, I don't know what they are, but I have friends I could find out. I guess it depends where in Texas you are. Right, here I'm going to delete all the higher subdivision levels, do a mirror and weld, get some symmetry going over here. These legs look so bad. They look like noodle tubes, but they'll get better. Also, you can learn online. I don't know. It depends. I mean, I went to, when I quit my job at Microsoft, I went to college. I was a lot older. I went back to Noman and Art Center to study before I actually started teaching there. And most of the students were younger than me, but I didn't really mind. But you can also learn online, and I think online is the best way to go, because wherever you are, you can get a really quality education. Of course, you don't have to commute. I mean, that's an advantage. And then there's different ways you can go there. You can either take a class with a teacher, like a 1-week class or something like that, or you can do mentorship, a one-on-one, in which case you will learn more. It's kind of like getting a personal coach. Yeah, you can go that route too. There are great books too if you like learning from books. I still do. I'm really trying to make lemonade with this lemon of a leg I have here. There's a boatload of stuff on YouTube as well. But the problem is, if you kind of go into the education uncurated, you're going to struggle at first because you're not going to know what's good and what's not and what really, and you're going to be as excited about it as the first bad video you see. So the minute you see a bad video, I think that'll kind of diminish your excitement. And you won't know if it's a bad video or not until you're kind of way down the road. So that's why I recommend taking a class if you can. And if you do it online, your age doesn't matter. You'll probably be with a whole bunch of people in different ages. Oh, what's this crap? got this here. Let's see. There we go. I swear there's nothing that doesn't get screwed over by people that are scamming. It's unbelievable. It's just, you know, you can't get away from it. Spams on calls. It almost seems to me like if there is some politician that goes after these people and gets rid of them, that person will be very popular. I'm going to Dynamesh at this point. Let's see. Okay, it still wants to give me like a heavy mesh. I don't know why. Let's go all the way down to 64. Here we go. That's more like it. All right, legs are starting to look a little bit better. the good news is after a certain point, your education or learning kind of turns into things like watching streams or, learning from other artists, and that's kind of a fun stage. So I know a lot of artists in studios and whatnot watch all the Pixelogic streams. Unfortunately, most of the time it's when they need something specific. But the good ones always are sharpening their saw, so to speak, learning more. Oh yeah, good old Feng. I used to know Feng when he was here in LA. He used to teach at Noman. He's done really well for himself. I think he's got a school in Singapore. I don't know if he still does. But I do watch some of his videos online. He has Feng has some great videos on the Noman workshop as well. I remember I learned a lot from his mech video that he's got on there. Like how to do thumbnails and how to develop. And it's not, that I use Photoshop. I mean, I do, but I don't use Photoshop for concept design. I mostly use it to edit videos and whatnot. But his methodology I can use in anything. Starting with thumbnails, developing a design that you want. He's a good teacher too. Like he's very assertive. Definitely a legend. I'm trying to see how I can kind of incorporate this leg into the anatomy. Again, it's hard to do it on a non-existent animal or creature, but if I use some existing known anatomy, I might get away with creating something believable. There we go. I think I got it. Here we go. All right, I think I made a little bit of a breakthrough on here, so I think I'm going to move off of this and move on to another part. I think I'm going to start maybe doing a little bit more work on the wings. Right now I've got these really rough pieces. I mean super rough. All right, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to try and get these kind of finger looking things a uniform thickness. Oh, it's connected. It is. And the reason why I'm doing this is I'm going to re-dynamesh this thing, and I don't want it to lose any of the, here we go. So one of the things you see me doing is zooming out, because when you zoom out, you kind of get a really good idea of what it looks like. I always am checking this area too, which is the silhouette. Okay, and you know, it always kind of tells you where the problem is, and I'm already seeing a problem that the tail is too short. So a colleague I worked with a while back was in the Marines as well. He was he cleared minefields. I also had another colleague that was in the Marines and was a sniper, so definitely know what you guys have to deal with, and I'll just thank you for your service. I personally wanted to go into the Air Force, but I don't know. I lost interest at some point. I am working on a really cool airplane concept in a project. Maybe I'll do it in one of the seasons coming up. I'll just continue working on it online. Back to the wings. All right, I'm going to duplicate this and I'm going to see what this would look like. Actually, I can leave this back. If it opens up again here, I'm not really worrying about the topology. I know there's some funky stuff going on here. All I'm worrying about is just making sure dimension-wise that this thing would look okay with its wings, and I can already see that it won't because these fingers need to be longer. I might even go longer than this. Actually, this might be okay. But I definitely know now that I need longer fingers for this to work. Kind of imagining what the wings would be like. All right, so here's a pro tip you can do. I'm just going to append or insert a plane 3D. There it is. I'm going to put it down here, And I'll subdivide it a few times. And again, none of this really, I mean, this isn't a piece that's going to be in the model, but it's just there for me to check something, which is I'm going to see what the wings would look like. And I'm just going to do this by painting. Let's fill this with white. And here I'm just drawing on that plane. I'm drawing the wings. Oh. All right, so here, and this probably would be better done with Z-spheres. Actually, I think I'm going to do it, because I think it's a good thing to also show. I'll put that there. I guess all I'm trying to do is just open up these fingers. Let's see if I can just do it without Z-spheres. Now I'm going to do a quick save, just because I don't think I've saved this at all. Oh, wow. Time sure does fly when I'm doing these. Okay. So I got some weird stretching happening here. None of this really matters. All I'm trying to do is just get the fingers to just totally messed that one up. Actually, there's a better way of doing this too. I'm just going to keep the thumb okay, and then here I'm going to switch to sculptress mode and just erase these. I'm just using shift. Just re-dynamesh it, turn off sculptress mode, and then use, actually I can leave this on, and I'm going to use the snake hook brush. Where do I have that? Is it on one brush? Nope. Two, snake hook. Really? Oh, here we go. Snake hook. All right, so now I can just do this. Create the fingers. There we go. And again, I'm not going to be using this geometry. I'm just doing it to see if it's feasible. And eventually, oops, forgot that I still have sculptress mode on. I'm just giving these a little bit of thickness. All right, so now let's see what the wings would look like. Go back to paint. All right. All right, so that looks like it could, and obviously this hand is way too thick. think the symmetry's messed up on this, so mirror. Nope. All right. So this is kind of what the wings would look like, more or less, when they are opened up. All right, so I'm gonna create another copy of this and just flip it around so I can take a look at it from the bottom. Turn transparency on. Yeah, that seems to be working fine for the wing. All right, how are we doing on time? 8:30. All right, I think this is good enough work on the dragon. So what I'm going to do is switch over to another part of this model, which is the dragon rider. I think this is it. All right, and I have a great sword for this guy, but I need to have, here I'm going to go to V2. Like, I have a good sword, but I also want to have a dagger for him. So maybe I'll work on that next. And here, I'll go ahead and switch over to the other swords. Where are they? That's weird. A bunch of swords. First of all, I think something happened here where a lot of these pieces got oh, this is the shoes. Why is this all separated out now? Oh, something happened with it. Maybe, oh, okay, I'm on the wrong version. Interesting. I think this is the newer one I was working on, and this was the older one, which actually has a bigger head. No. Is this the older one? It's interesting. I've got two of these. I don't know why. All right, I'll get to the bottom of it. It doesn't matter. Oh, I know why. I think that one was one I posed. Okay, so this is good. And here are the different swords. Down here. All right, so I'm going to go to another view here. And so the sword I'm going to use is probably this one. What would be nice is if this thing, like Photoshop, you can just kind of click and drag on the eyeballs, but I think once you click and drag, it tries to move the subtool. I guess I could shift click on the folder name. That's kind of too late now. Okay, so this is the sword I think that I'm going to use. I made a bunch. This is one of them. So here. So here I'm not going to do the, oh man. Here we go. This is another one. I think this might be the one. Is this 3? Yeah, 3. Okay, so this is 4. This is 3. And then I've got sword 1. And sword 1 is really ornate. So in addition to these swords, I also want to make a dagger. So I'm going to start with, I've got kind of a template for swords, which is really a very simplistic. I think you saw it in the other model. It's this. Oh, I guess I developed this some more. Oh yeah, so I made 4 different swords. So this is sword number 1. Number 2, number 3, and number 4. All right, so let me go back to this one. And I think this has that sword. This one, I think it is. This is the kind of the template that I use. All right, so I'm going to copy this folder. I guess better if I select it. Okay, copy folder. Shoot. The paste folder option is down below here. I guess I could just do this. No. if you hold Control down, it should move the menu down. I just need to get the cursor in the right place. Oh, here we go. This is what I'm looking for, this button. Okay, and then I'm going to go to here and paste it. All right, so I should have 2 of those sword folders now. And this one I'm going to rename Sort Templates. Okay. While I'm at it, I'm also going to copy this and paste it into a new subtool just so I have a copy of it. And I'm going to save this out. Okay, so now I've got the sort template in another tool, so if I need it again, I'll just get it from there. Okay. Did it copy the wrong one? It did. Oh, well. Delete all. All right, let's rename this to Sword 00. I'll do the copying another time, just because I did it once, and I just did it just to kind of give you guys an example of what I'm doing. But yeah, this is the one I want. I might as well copy it. Copy folder. Same thing. And by the way, this copy folder and paste folder is part of Subtool Master. And it's not, if you click on this, it's actually in the plugin. So, all right, delete this one. Okay, all right, good. All right, back to work. Okay, so if I'm going to do a dagger, it's obviously going to be smaller than the sword, and the blade is the first thing I'll start with. And as you can see, I've got really simple geometry here, so I can very easily just mask this part and move this part in. Actually, I just thought of something. It'd be a good idea for me to make a copy of the blade so that I can compare it. Okay. See, now I can tell how much shorter it is, and I think this is a good length. Also, I don't need the hilt to be that wide. All right, so now I don't need the other blade anymore. I can hide it. How about making the whole thing a little bit wider? Okay, there's that. I don't know what it just did. Huh. All right. I don't know where the other pieces went. And this, oh, no. Okay, it's very strange. All right, so here's the way to get out of this problem. I'm gonna merge these together. Okay. And I'm going to unify the whole thing. All right, now I'm going to split it back out. All right, this seems to be really messed up. I don't know why. All right. Okay, so this is exactly why I kept that copy of that sword. So if something like this happens, I can just delete this whole folder. Okay, and then just go and get the good one. All right, so I don't know what this is in comparison to the other subtools, so I think that's why it's giving me a problem. So I'm going to go ahead and merge all these together. All right, so now it's all one piece. Center the gizmo on it. I don't know why it's okay. All right, still it doesn't matter. And then I'm going to unify the whole thing. All right, I think that was the problem. And now I'm just going to separate them out, split to parts. Okay. All right. Mask the center part. And here I'm just trying to see. Obviously, the blade part is too big, and I think I don't have the duplicate blade for some reason, but that's okay. All right, this is looking good. This piece here is from my cylinder kit bash kit that you can get on Gumroad. And I guess this would be a good time to talk about this. And so basically, if you guys want to look at my work and things that I do, you can go to my Instagram. That's the best place to get in touch with me and follow me. So here, notice I've got a bunch of followers, and you can look at my work. This is my recent stuff. Was doing some terrain work for a project, and then most of it is ZBrush, but here are the different kits listed, and you can kind of get a preview of them. This is before this. I usually post one of these when I release it on the day of. And if you go to my Instagram, first thing, please follow, right? And then here is my link tree, and if you follow me, then you can find me on Instagram easily, and then you can go to my link tree, and you can wow, this is new. You can see my portfolio where I have a lot of my work, and also you can go to my Gnomon workshops. I've got 2 of them. So there is a one called Designing a Piloted Combat Mech, which is kind of my entire work process. So this would be a good one to see my entire process, all the way from gathering reference to a finished piece. And then I also have another one, which is basically creating digital doubles, 3D scanning a human being, and then retopologizing it and purposing it for use in animation, VR, whatever. Okay, so and also if you go to my Gumroad, you can go to my ArtStation, my YouTube channel, which basically will house these tutorials or streams. So right now I've got here are the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and today's will be number 7. So you can this will be posted in the this will kind of be added on to here, right? So again, my YouTube channel you can get to from my Linktree, my Twitch channel, which this is on. If you want to create a shortcut, I'm on doing this every other Friday, and then the Friday that I'm not doing this, I'm streaming for Maxon on ZBrush Live. Here's my LinkedIn, Blue Sky, Twitter, etc. Right? So in my Gumroad is where my kit bash kits are, and the one I was referencing with the hilt of the sword is this one, which is my cylindrical Pro Primitives Kit Bash Kit 01. And then I've got another one that I came out with, which is rings and loops. And I'm working on another one here. I'm actually working on 3 others, but they will be posted when they're finished. Okay, so I just thought I would mention that. And then here, let's get back to our sword. I think we're getting close to the time here. Or dagger, I mean, not sword. So I'm just basically now creating the framework for it. And I don't know if I like this kind of bent shape. Maybe just the 2 areas over here. I'm trying different options. All right, I think maybe not so wide of a hilt. Right, then I'm just going to unmask this part and create that type of shape. And again, this is really very kind of rough, but I'll refine it. I don't know if I'm going to have much time to do it this time around, but the framework for it I'll do right now. Okay. Okay. Again, once you get the proportions right, the rest is easy. I think the challenge I'm having with this is that the middle part is too thin. I mean, I'm going to have stuff there. I guess I'll just leave it. Okay, the only other thing I wanted to do is make the bottom part of this a little bit wider. I think I went a little bit too much. Just a subtle amount is better. Here we go. And just notice how little geometry this is. It's just dynamically subdived. So it's very little geometry, but it's giving me a lot of leeway as to how I want this to be designed. Let's see here. As I'm saying that, I ran out of topology, so I'll just add a couple of edge loops over here. So I'm just going to go Shift D, and this is basically the piece. It's just like a really simple piece. Okay, so now that I did this, I have more topology to be able to do that. So I have the choice of going that way, or I can even go this way. I think this is good. All right. And here I just want to make this part a little bit bigger. That, but maybe not as much on top or the bottom. There we go. All right, and I'm going to go for a design that I kind of have in my reference. I don't know if it's going to work. I mean, obviously it is not a smart way to have it, but it looks cool. I guess I could have this be the hilt now. I think it was fine the way it was. All right. Okay, so this is kind of the basic part of the dagger. Another thing I want to do is maybe make the blade a little bit thicker. Again, the blade itself is also very little geometry, and we'll kind of, you know, right now if I do Shift D, it does that, but once I add a couple of creases and some subdivisions, it'll start looking good. And all right, so now I want to make this hilt part. I know it's 9 o'clock. I'm going to go a little bit extra today just because I want to do this one part before I end it. And the way I'm going to do this is I'm just going to create a few tools. So here I'm going to use my primitives, just my basic primitives, which you can download for free. I've got a free and a paid for version. The paid for version is just like the free one, except it's got less pieces, and it's pretty inexpensive. It's $5, and you can buy that as a tip for me. And if you do that, you'll get some extra pieces. Basically, everything that's over here, and you can see that in my Gumroad. I show you the delta between the two. So if you guys are gonna pick up the primitives kit bash kit, here I'll show it. If you guys are gonna pick this one, right, but you want to help me out, you can pick this one instead, and it's just a $5 additional fee, and you get these parts along with the rest, and these are pretty useful. Like a kind of a 2 pipes intersecting is a good one. As a matter of fact, I might even use that for the sword. And then there's 1 pipe intersecting another one, not going through. I've got a kind of a 90-degree one, and all these kind of other really neat pill shapes and whatnot. So yeah, it's worth getting that one. If you do a lot of work in ZBrush, it's worth it. Okay, so here I'm just going to insert a polymesh 3D like that. And from my kit bash kit, I'm going to pick just a cylinder. I'm going to pick this one, all right? And if I press W for move and do that, it actually places that piece in here. It's kind of small, so I'm going to use Unify to make it bigger. Change the orientation and make it thinner. Okay, and this is something I'm going to do with my handle. Uh-oh, my cat is going to make an appearance soon, because no stream is complete without her coming in front of me and getting in the monitor. Hey, kitty. We're gonna. Oh no, she decided not to. Decided not to come now. Come here. No, she's not having any of it. All right. Oh, no, change her mind. She changed her mind. Come on. No, not there. Here, come here. Cats. They never do what they're told. All right, so I'm just going to create one this way, and then I'm going to mirror this to the other side. So mirror and weld in X. So I've got 2 of them, and then I'm going to duplicate that and go to the center of the 2 and rotate. So now I've got 4 of them, and I wonder what this is going to look like. All right, I'm just going to stick with 4 for now, and I'm just going to merge this down. Merge down. Okay, so now they're all together. So this is what it looks like. And then what I'm going to do here is add some edge loops. Should have done that before, but that's fine. I can do it pretty fast. Okay, so insert multiple edge loops, and I'm going to leave it at interactive and add a bunch of edge loops until I get like a squarish shape. Now ZBrush will remember that number, and now all I have to do is just click. The challenge here is getting on an edge. Okay. That's what I meant by, if I did this to the first one, then I would not have to do it all these times, but it's not that big of a deal. Come on, last one. All right, here we go. All right, so now that I've got this, I've got the topology I need. I'm going to use a twist deformer. Is this the max it will go? All right, that's doubling down. All right, so that's good. Actually wanted it to twist a bit more, but this is the max it will do. All right, so in order to solve my problem, I'm going to undo the twist and remove the deformer and make this shorter. Okay. It looks like I need to go even shorter than that. So now I'm kind of feeling like I added way too many edge loops. But let's just keep them for now and see like how short this needs to be for it to get the intentional thing I'm intending to do. Oh, why did it take that? Okay, W. All right, let's just delete. Let's do this. I'm going to get close to doing it at this length. Okay. All right, so I'm just going to go all the way back to here, and I have another way of solving this problem, which is to duplicate this, rotate it. Okay, and then I'm going to merge these down, merge down. Okay, so now I'm going to apply it to the whole thing. And this, I think, will give me what I want. Yep. All right, I'm going to let this autosave. And I think this is the kind of the last thing I wanted to do before I ended. So I'm glad I kind of got it to where I want it to be. But I'll do a couple more things before I end the stream. Okay. By the way, if you are watching this on YouTube, let people know that when I'm on live so they can come on and ask questions and whatnot. I'm trying to get more traffic. Okay, so here's kind of the idea I had earlier, which is I'll make a shorter version of this. That'll go this way, and then I'll just duplicate it. And then I'll put something in the middle over there. Or I could just leave it the way it was. I think it looks okay like this. And if I turn this off. Okay, so this is kind of creating this interesting handle for me. And I might keep it. I might choose differently. But I just wanted to try this twist modifier on to see what I would get. All right, so with that, I guess I will thank all of you that watched this live. And also thank all of you that are watching this on YouTube after the fact. Please remember to like and subscribe, and also please try and watch this live because it really helps with the dialogue, and also it's more fun for everybody. All right, I'm going to accept this, and I'm going to do one more thing here. I'm going to taper this inwards. Symmetry, exponent, no. There is symmetry. Okay, so let's see. I want symmetry in X and in Z. Let's see if this works. I don't think taper is the right modifier I'm looking for. I think maybe bend dark. No. Oh, subdivide, taper, twist. I think taper only works. Does it work in? Oh, you know what? I can always do this with a. It'll be more work, but it's not that bad. I think it's. Let's do deformer soft. Yep. And then I'll just mask these two, and push this one in. Just a little bit. Okay, I don't know if it went in. Yeah, it went in all directions. Okay, that's good. Okay, and then I'm going to add a few more spans here. And I'm going to squeeze these in. All right, I think that's looking good. And I might add some other details or parts to it there. All right, I will end it here. I'm going to do a quick render of the dragon before we go, because I spent a lot of time on it this time. And I like what we are doing. So here, I'm going to hide these planes for now. Something like that. Let's bring back the ear flaps. Where are you? Right here. Big sausage hands. And I'm trying to get a. I think maybe I don't really need these huge wings for now. So let's take those out, bring the other ones back. There we go. All right. It's not bad. I just could do a few more modifications here on this render, and we'll call it a night. Okay, so just go to BPR filters here. I think this last one, I can move the light. First of all, I'm going to make sure that the light is aligned with the matte cap, and then let's do the BPR. And last but not least, let's go over here to modifiers. Do I have a sharpen on here? I have a blur. Okay, let's not take that off. Let's turn the sharpen on. Okay. And what else we got? Outline edge. Maybe we don't need that. It's not making a big difference. Okay, I think that's the vignette. All right, and then this is kind of what really makes it pop for me. So up. good. And then right, so up down is inverted, left right. Let's move it over to the right a bit. Other way. No. This is something that could use a drag over, right, and then in out. Radius bigger, fall off. There we go. All right, I think that's a good kind of render to see a little bit of the progress we did. Again, thanks for watching, and have a good day or night wherever you are, and happy ZBrushing. Bye-bye.